And welcome to the No Assembly Required podcast, a podcast where we talk about nothing and wildly entertain you in the process. And now, introducing your trio of entertaining and delighting hosts, starting with Romina with the good hair, Audrey out of focus Ember, and of course, your dark lord of the interwebs himself, Roberto Blake. Welcome to the No Assembly Required podcast, filmed in front of a live YouTube audience. Please like and subscribe.
That's the most important part. Like and subscribe.
Yes, we are currently at 303 subscribers.
Whee! You know,
97 to go.
Yeah.
3 is my favorite number. 3 and 9
Why?
are both my favorite. I don't know, because I like how they look. Well, I like how 9 looks and how it sounds.
That's interesting.
You know, there's
Like
a way
9.
to find what your
Just sounds
favorite
cool.
number is.
What do you mean there's a way? What does that mean?
So you take your birth month plus your birthday, and if your birthday has two numbers, you choose your favorite, and then that's your favorite number, or that's your lucky number.
Favorite or lucky? They're different things
I think
here. I'm going to say, well, all right, she disappeared. I don't know where she went, but...
My cat is being
Can I
annoying.
get an encore? Do you want more?
What's yours? What's yours then, Romina?
Well, my birthday is January 13th.
So it'd be 11 or
11 or 3? Is that what's happening? Do you understand what she's saying, Roberto?
it'd be 11 or 13 because you get January, which is 1, and then you said the 13th, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
So you
that
can
makes
choose
sense.
1 or 3 for the second number.
Oh, that
Oh
makes
my
sense.
god.
So 1 or 3 for the second number. So it's just any of the numbers in your birthday. Is that what she's saying? Am I getting that right?
I guess.
I think she's into some like hocus
My
pocus
favorite
thing. I don't
number
know.
is 21 because it's my birthday number and because of blackjack.
That's convenient
Yep.
for you.
Yeah. And 21 is generally itself a quote unquote like lucky number. It's 3 sevens. So.
Right. It is a cool number.
Yeah. So it's like 3 sevens, so that's almost like slots, and then it's also blackjack. I mean, it's like, and so like yeah, my favorite number basically says maybe I should be a degenerate gambler.
Well, 9 is 3 threes. So maybe there's some science behind that.
Yeah, there's things like maybe we'll do an episode on numerology.
Oof. I did do that. I got my numbers read like a couple weeks ago.
What?
I went to someone and they did like the whole thing for me. It was very insightful.
I have a friend, I have a YouTube friend who did a tarot reading for me about a specific situation. And it was interesting and it was spot on. It was interesting and it was spot on. It was somebody that had DM'd me that is very well known in the community that I wasn't fully sure about whether this is a like good thing or not, but it turned out that it was a good thing, and we ended up having a lot of mutual respect, and it was interesting to say the least, and it gave me a very different and more informed opinion about this person, and that's nothing but a
Trisha
good thing.
Paytas?
No, hell no. Hell no. I'd take gasoline and I'd take a handful of gas and a handful of matches to those DMs if that were the case.
Wow.
If that were the case. Hell no.
Wow. And the laundry is
No.
I said what I
We
said.
should get Trisha
Yeah,
Paytas
no, we
on the
said-
podcast.
No, hell no. I'll quit the podcast.
Oh, you're yelling.
Yeah, no, I'll quit the pod. I will quit this podcast. I will quit the podcast.
Oh my
I
God.
swear to God, I'm not even playing with y'all. I will quit the damn podcast before that happens.
Wait, don't say it too many times because we have some people who are just joining us now. Welcome, everyone. Roberto is not leaving the podcast.
No, No, not unless we have a certain somebody invited to the program, in which case I will unceremoniously leave.
I mean, she's in need of a new podcast to
No.
host. So.
No.
She's on
Not
the
for
she's on the
all
prowl.
of the clout in the world. Not for an ocean.
With Trisha.
Not for an ocean of clout. Not for an ocean
She's
of
on
clout.
the market.
No, not for an ocean
Yeah.
of
Wait,
clout.
Roberto.
It's cursed. It's
Roberto.
cursed. No, it's like it's cursed.
Wait, what if she owned a chateau?
No. Look, no. I don't care.
No
Like
negotiation.
no. This is not a negotiation. It's cursed. Y'all want to have careers? Y'all want to have careers?
True.
Because like it's cursed,
I'm not about to be exposed for something random.
right?
That I
Like
probably
no,
don't do.
it's like or like not even exposed. Like having stuff literally made up. Like I mean, poor Ethan. Poor
Yeah.
Ethan. I've have every like poor Ethan.
No,
I'm
Jake,
Team
we have not bought our Castle Island yet. It's in the works. But even if we did, we probably wouldn't disclose it on the podcast yet.
No, we
That's-
have to do a stunt video to like,
strictly NDA.
and we'd have to do like we can't spoil the video if we did that. Like we can't like we have to save it for the clickbait.
Right, yeah. I mean, you guys got kind of like a tease for being here, but mum's the word.
Yeah.
Mum's
Besides,
the
I
word.
don't, like yeah. Besides, I can't do that right now. I've got taxes to pay.
Right. And we're also trying to bat off, the Trishas that are trying to get on our podcast.
Yeah,
They're not
'cause that's
trying,
happening a lot.
and it's not happening, and it's like I'm like no, just no, like my God, can we just not talk about this person? It's it's cursed to summon them. Like can we not?
Summon. Hey, maybe this is how we get the podcast, going.
No.
We can start some beef.
I'd rather
yeah.
I'll settle for any.
Isn't that what
number
every
of-
celebrity needs to
No,
become a celebrity?
no,
Drama?
I don't need the view. We don't need the views, guys. I don't care. Like
Yeah, but we could use the
Want the
subs.
views.
No, not for an ocean of clout. Not for 1 million subscribers. No.
Oh God,
No.
dude! If we do that, we will never escape. Like that's all the comments.
No,
will be
I don't
talking
need
about
that,
where
like,
Trisha
do you-
went.
I-
Well, you
For
don't
the
need
rest
that.
of our
I don't
lives.
need to pay 5 times as much for therapy. I don't need to be in therapy 5 times a week. I'm not interested in that
Yeah,
level of needing
Yeah,
therapy.
but
Oh
the
my
views
God.
will pay for it.
No. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. Ask Ethan. It's not worth it. Clearly.
For the 5%.
For the 5%.
Apparently, that 5% is like
That
worth
5%.
millions.
No, it's really not, but
Have you seen those memes? It's so.
I know I love the memes. I love the memes.
Yeah, what
I
is
love
the
the memes.
context here?
But the context is I'm
Be
not
happy you
interested
don't
in
know the
ever
context.
collabing with or having controversial content creators on the show or people that I believe will literally end up sending me to therapy or causing me
Wait.
more trauma in life than I already have.
Now I have a question. What if one of us becomes the controversial creator?
I won't let that happen. I won't let that happen. I'll send people.
You ain't
I'll
in
send them-
control of me.
Well,
What,
I'm-
Roberto
like,
thinks
I'm-
he's
no,
got
I'm in
dominion
control
over
of the
us.
narrative. No, but I'm in control of the narrative, and if need be, I'll send guys in
We
black
need to just go
vans.
full on.
I'm in
Wow.
control of the
Rebellious
narrative.
mode.
I am the Dark Lord of the interwebs, and if I need to, I will
Roberto's just gonna
send.
send the MIB.
I will send people in the black vans, with the black sunglasses and and everything. Like I you know how I roll.
Yeah.
YouTube Mafia up in here. I will just send the guys.
Yeah.
If needs be, I will just send the peoples.
All right. Jake wants to know, who is the threshold of therapy-inducing creator you'd allow on the podcast?
Me.
Wow. Okay. Well, that answers
That's
your
fair.
question.
That's fair. That's fair.
I mean, we drive Roberto a little bit crazy. He's being modest.
Y'all are fine.
But-
No, y'all are fine. I mean, who would I like? I don't know. I have no idea, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
I
have
like
no idea.
the only people I can name that are controversial for the most part are either I don't think they should be controversial or it's not worth mentioning because it's dumb. Like as far as like here's someone controversial that I think they shouldn't have to be controversial, and I think everything's overblown. I wouldn't mind having Boogie on at all. I wouldn't mind having Boogie on at all, and I think there's like I don't really think there's any reason for him to be nearly as controversial as he is. Yeah, I think that's largely people looking to be offended, to be honest. And I think he says some stuff that might be quote unquote dumb sometimes, but you're allowed to say dumb, goofy stuff, especially when you're a character on the internet in the way that Boogie is for as long as Boogie has been. And he literally got famous playing a Francis character that like everyone decided was like offensive. When that was the humor of the time, and now it's like, oh well, that brand of humor can't exist. I mean, Netflix has now become CBS. It's like it's ridiculous. And I'm like, this just reminds me of how back in my day, they South Park. Like, oh, you can't South Park, Jackass. It's like what like that's like what? Those things aren't allowed to exist? We're going to be that puritanical? Mortal Kombat, they didn't... Back when Mortal Kombat was barely pixelated blood, Mortal Kombat and Doom were controversial then, and thank God now we're past that, but like as far as the video games, but like now we've decided that like edgy or offensive or crass jokes are off the table when literally, again, like 20 years ago, little pixelated like squibs of blood were off the table. Now we literally have Mortal Kombat with people's like whole fully rendered organs being ripped out, and it's fine.
Right. And Attack on Titan.
And all kinds of like, Demon Slayer. Like we have all kinds of gore, and it's perfectly fine now. And it's not the least. It is. No one cares. No one's trying to actively.
But what are the long-term effects of the exposure to violence?
If people were worried about
be ready for the apocalypse.
If people were worried about that, then they should start with violence in the streets, and they should worry more about that.
More violence.
If people are worried about simulated violence, then they should be infinitely more worried about real world violence then, and they should be worried about what people are exposed to.
Well, I think that was the concern, wasn't it? I mean, the whole reason that was a problem to begin with is because of the psychological effects that it had IRL.
I understand that. Well, I think there needs to be further study on that, because here's the thing: if we're going to go that far to protect people from the psychological effects,
but there is going to be further study because we're already implementing it. We already have our guinea pigs. We have our test subjects already.
All right. So if people think that psychologically damaging, if people think playing certain types of video games are psychologically damaging, then they should accept
not just video games, but just long-term exposure to violence and gore.
Then what's
right?
the
desensitization of
then what's the long-term effects of enduring 30 days of people haranguing and harassing you with cancel culture for 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, or in some people's cases their whole damn careers? What's the psychological impact of that to somebody? And then why aren't we then more against that? Because that's human beings being trashed to other human beings, and that's just straight up bullying and moralism and puritanicalism and nonsense like that. And
I agree with you, this is why I'm getting my island, Roberto.
Yeah. Well, we can do that. We can destroy all humans. We can go to Mars. Take your pick.
No. You get the island first. You get your safe haven first. Then you destroy all humans.
Okay, so we're building the Death Star.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Okay, cool.
Essentially, that's.
I'm good with this. Right, I'm good with this. Yeah, Earth can have the same fate as Alderaan.
For the record, I did not agree to this.
By association, you agree to everything we say.
Audrey, you have to join us on the dark side. Yeah. Audrey, join us, and we could end this destructive conflict.
No.
KDX says kids switched to video games because the playground was too dangerous. Yeah, but now the playground is too safe. You know that playgrounds now they actually have like soft cushions on the ground, like playground.
They do that more to not be sued.
I don't think that's what he meant.
Right, but I'm just saying.
All right.
Okay, what is it? What is it, Audrey?
Like when I read that sentence, I was thinking like school shootings, not the actual safety of the playground.
He's not wrong. I mean, when I was a kid,
the old playground at my school, they had to move away because it's next to the road, and they moved it for safety concerns, like more in the middle of
or active shooter. Or, when I was a kid, the most we worried about in theory was like someone bringing a knife to school was like a big deal. Like it was a huge deal, right?
Wait, you didn't have gun drills?
No, like this is
No.
before your time.
In
I'm
high
almost
school?
40. I'm 37. We didn't
No.
have we didn't
I know,
have
but
gun
not even
drills
in
and
high
active shooter drills. Even when I
We
graduated
had
in
active
2000,
killer drills.
like no, active shooter drills were not active shooter drills are a thing now, and that was not a thing even when I graduated high school. That was not a thing. And yes, Columbine happened during the time that I was in high school, but again, that was considered a freak isolated incident, and we didn't have another Columbine until after I graduated.
That's crazy.
So
I like my friend came to visit me at some point who's from France, and we had an active killer drill while she was here, and she was like, what is going on? This is so like they don't do that. And like when it comes on the speakers, like this is an active killer drill. First of all, I don't know why they call it that. It should be like a shooter.
Well, that's
I
nightmare.
they
know,
don't
like a
call it an
gun
active
drill,
shooter drill.
but they say
call it an active shooter drill because in the South they don't want to demonize gun culture.
I think what I heard, I'm not sure because I heard this from a student, but they were saying it was because it makes it sound more scary, so people take it more seriously. But that also makes more sense. I feel like they wouldn't want to be demonizing the guns.
I didn't have. Jake says he had shooter drills when he got into college. I didn't. Not even in college. I didn't.
Not
have
even
that. How
in
about you,
college for
Roberto?
me either.
Yeah.
Not even for college. But again, we were the same generation. So like again, I was in college in 2002. You know, so
Right.
like, and then for thereafter, and so like no, because the thing is, even the God, what was it?
Yeah, but I think also it just takes time for those kinds of things to roll.
After
roll
we were
out,
out of college when that shooter, that one college shooter at God, what was it? I want to say it was in DC. Yeah, it was Virginia. It was the Virginia Tech. It was Virginia Tech.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that came later. We were like, I think we were out of school we were out of college by then for sure.
Yeah, I was done.
Yeah, so
I was done, but also I switched to online after my freshman year.
Okay.
So I was done.
Yeah, same. But yeah, I agree with Victoria. Valuetainment's right that like lawyers are literally saying they're trying to get these kind of cases as far as the playground stuff. So as far as lawsuits, yeah, it's. I mean, you
makes
don't even
sense.
have to.
It makes sense.
They don't have to bother to chase ambulances anymore at this point, right? Like, there's just so many ways that like everyone's willing to sue now too. So it's
right. I mean, speaking of chasing, I'd like to chase after the topic of tonight.
Let's do it.
We're kind of going astray here.
Sure. I think we kind of started with YouTuber stuff when we were like talking about a certain somebody. They
right. We were talking about a certain somebody. Yeah.
They who will not be named.
Yeah. They who will not be named.
Yeah.
All right. What is it that nobody tells you about YouTube?
Oh, let's start with Ember on this one.
This is such an open-ended question.
What's something? But the thing
well,
is,
okay,
that's good
well,
because we can keep talking about it.
So then just answer.
Okay, wait. So I'm currently not in my apartment. This is why I keep running around because Rusty's going nuts, messing with things. But I came out here to film a video because I'm sick of planning too much. So I had this idea this morning, and now I'm here. And I'm just filming a video. I don't really know about what yet, but I think this is something I've been thinking about a lot. Maybe you guys can relate. But like, I'm at a point with my channel where like when I started being more serious about it, I got so overwhelmed with like what other people were doing, what I should technically do, that I think I kind of got lost in the noise of like all of that. So too much information and then having it impact the creative process to the point where it was draining. And I also had expectations on YouTube, especially monetary expectations that were stressing me out. And it just wasn't a healthy combo. And I've gotten to the point now where I'm not relying on YouTube, obviously, for money. I have my video editing stuff going on. And I'm starting to look back at my channel, but this time from a different perspective of like, I don't know, because we've talked about why we all started our channels, but I obviously want to continue playing the YouTube game because I want to grow. But I also want to never sacrifice like the reason why I started for growth. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
I
you
think
don't
I've
want
talked to you
to.
guys about this forever, is trying to find a
Yeah.
way to like combine the actual passion with content that works, and finding that combo is really hard.
What you're
I
saying
don't know.
is that you're not going to collab with Trisha.
No.
What did we just say? What did we just say?
But anyway, I'm out here because I'm gonna film a video about all this type of stuff today, and I've literally given myself the permission to just shoot like whatever footage I want without overthinking it.
You're under 100K. Do whatever you want. But the thing
Yep.
is,
I know.
yeah, I'm not joking. Enjoy it. Enjoy like the happiest I think I was with the content I was making was when I was under 250,000 subscribers. I think
Roberto, how many do you have now?
527,000, I think. Yeah. 527,000 on my channel. On my main channel.
Can I ask you? Are you actively working towards getting to the 1 mil?
I will be later this year, at the end of this year, after I make some stuff that I feel I really want to make and need to make to lay the foundation of things expanding with my brand and my brand as an educator, as a public speaker, as a soon-to-be self-published author. Those things, my brand and reputation is more important to me than my subscriber count. And there's content I want to make that helps expand what I'm capable of outside of YouTube. And so I want to lay more of a foundation. I mean, I've already laid a great foundation for outside of YouTube, but I want to lay more of a foundation for outside of YouTube. I want to also lay the foundation for things that grow my other income streams this year so that I can expand my team and take, I want to take one of my sisters to full time. And so there's, okay, I need to know that there's something non-YouTube that absolutely covers her full-time salary and benefits and investing in her for resources, and I need to feel comfortable with that and with some tax stuff. So I'm like, I need to shore up some content that funnels to outside of YouTube money that builds the business more, and I need to put some things in place that now that speaking is coming back, I need to put some more stuff in place back to reinforce my speaking career. So like I need to spend this year still, just like in COVID, I still have to build what's beyond YouTube this year.
The expansion.
And do the expansion plan before I can even consider pursuing and doubling down on what my YouTube growth can look like. I still need at least another 6 to 12 months of securing everything else if I were wanting to pursue that, because I can make money, a lot of money off of YouTube AdSense with my setup and with the way I'm going, and I could focus on YouTube growth. I could, but I will then also become beholden to the platform in a way that makes me very uncomfortable.
So to kind
I'd
of
be
tie
scared,
this,
as nice as it would be, I'd be scared if I were looking forward to getting $10,000 a month from YouTube AdSense.
so I wanted to tie this into what Audrey was saying and asking before. Why do you feel like you are still doing what you set out to do with your YouTube channel? Do you feel like your why is still very active?
For the most part, yes, but also in some ways, no, because what I regret and resent is because I like making content that works and I love the creator community. I think I inundated my channel with too much YouTube centric content because I'm really here for creative people and I want to get creative people into entrepreneurship, and YouTube is just a tool. It's one of the best tools because I don't think that entrepreneurship is no longer, in my opinion, entrepreneurship is no longer separate from building a personal brand and a social media presence for the majority of people who don't have a lot of money. If you have a lot of money, you don't need social media to build a business today. But if you don't have capital, you need social capital and you need what these tools provide. And YouTube is the best overall, I think, investment of your time in social media as a whole. And I think everything else can be splintered from there. So like, and that's also been my own experience. And I also think, yes, I don't think that YouTube is the best way to monetize on the internet.
Yeah.
compared to a lot of other things. I mean, you've
Right.
experienced some of that yourself, Audrey. You too, Romina. You've experienced it, so you know what I'm talking about. However, out of all the things that you can do from a content perspective directly in platform, it's the best in
It's the
terms of
best.
monetization for now.
Yeah. 100%.
So that's how I feel about it. I feel like if I wanted to feel like, yes, I'm 100% doing more of what I wanted to, I think I'm getting there though, because I think my secondary channels allow for that. Conversations that I no longer feel make for a good YouTube video. I'm going to be double down on my own solo podcast. And then there's things in terms of expressing myself. I get to do that here with you guys. So that's great.
I have a follow-up question.
Yeah.
So do you think that you're okay? So the steps and the process that you need to take, in order to get from the 500K area that you're in to the 1 mil, does that align with your why?
Yes. Yeah, for the most part, yes. Because the thing that will probably work the most, frankly, is talking about making money online, which I'm very passionate about. And I feel like I do it ethically. And I feel like I do it, not to harp or be on a high horse, I feel I do it ethically. I feel I do it in a way that separates me from like fake gurus. And I feel like I always back up my claims. And I feel like I am one of the people that's the most earnest about saying this is effing hard work, get over it. Like, and it's high levels of difficulty, and I'm upfront about the levels of difficulty, and I'm not cultivating people to be dependent on me. And I don't think that that's absent from selling a course, by the way. I don't think you have to not sell a course. I think that Ali Abdaal has proven that there's a very good model and a way to do those type of things with authenticity and legitimacy, and that people will accept as authentic and legitimate. Because my concern has always been, even though a lot of my friends and contemporaries sell courses, my concern has always been, I always ask myself, does there need to be another course on YouTube growth or social media and these things? And having like bought a bunch of people's courses to answer that question for myself, and it's no offense to anybody, I just feel like there are things that I care about and that the community cares about that aren't addressed in people's courses. Because the same reason that I feel that there's things I talk about and the way that I teach it that's not addressed by every YouTuber that covers entrepreneurship or social media or YouTube growth.
Right.
And I just had a consult with a 500,000 subscriber YouTuber that does meme content. And they told me that they coached with like 2 other people in my space, and they said that I'm the only one that talked to them about the culture of their audience and about what it is that their community is actively engaged with, and that everything else was, ironically, they thought, of all things, that I would be the person most into the analytics, where I was much more interested in their audience.
I think the reason is because
that no one else
No,
brought
it's
it
not,
up,
because
right?
well, I think it makes
yes
sense
and no.
because of when Roberto came into the YouTube space. He's aware of the OG culture, and so I think that he goes into it first with the culture and then with the analytics and the numbers, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but
No,
I feel
she's
like
right.
from an
Audience
outsider's
comes first,
perspective-
analytics comes second. Audience, like, analytics measures audience behavior. So I care about audience behavior before I care about anything, and that's rooted in culture.
Yeah. But why haven't the other gurus that he talked to brought it up? That's what I was
I
saying.
think
Like,
it's
you think
because
that the
came
YouTube
later.
teachers would be talking about audience.
Because I think that it feels like an abstract, and then the legitimacy is in something rooted in data, which I talk a lot about data though, but I talk about that openly, and I think I'll talk about a lot of that for free. But the thing is, I'm open to analyze someone's data, but when I talk to them, I'm talking about it in reference to culture and in reference to human behavior. And I don't think it's that other people aren't 100% doing that. I just think that their communication style and emphasis on it and insistence on it is a little bit different than mine. And that's no shade or tea to anybody. It's just a different style. But that's why this. But that's what
Audrey's about to get sprayed.
Yeah.
Stop.
But like,
Well,
to KDX's point, culture is harder to quantify. But the thing is, I'm not seeking as much to quantify it, because I think your own analytics will tell you that. But I was going and I was giving this person a process for looking at and thinking about their audience, and then saying, hey, if you're not casually invested and watching the things that your audience would be watching, or it's like the reason that I explained to them basically that they were making content for an audience of one, and that they became disconnected at some point from the culture that their community is built upon,
Mm-hmm.
and that I then showed them like 3 recent relevant memes that they absolutely missed the boat on. And then I talked to them about the age demographic of their audience by looking at their analytics and saying, okay, this is when people age out of certain cultures and trends and things. And then here's the main bulk of your audience. And I'm like, okay, over 40% of your audience is clearly, over 40%, almost half your audience is clearly of the TikTok generation. And I'm like, and you have nothing here in your meme stuff, and you're not referencing TikTok or in the TikTok culture or the things that are trends in TikTok. You want to find trends. You want to know what people are memeing up. You have to be invested in TikTok. And they were like,
up.
Yeah.
Roberto. Does anybody say that?
Yeah.
I think
in Reddit.
Memeing up?
Yeah. I don't think so, Roberto. You sound like
No, it's a thing.
You sound like Steve Buscemi walking in.
No, it's a thing. But but my point is
Hello,
my point
fellow
is
kids.
but my point is I gave them reference points as to where they could understand what would connect them more with their audience by spending
humanize
time.
the data.
Yes, exactly. And that's where I feel a lot of stuff is lacking in the space. And that's why I've actually come to the conclusion that yes, the world does need another YouTube course, because also almost every YouTube course was made before YouTube Shorts became a thing.
Oh boy.
And then also we've had changes in policy in the last couple of months, let alone we've had YouTube Shorts, we've had changes in policy, we have changes in the app itself now. We have all these things that have changed in the last year, and most of the courses are outdated already.
I actually do have a question about that, but before I jump into my question, Otto in the chat says, mad respect for continuing NARP this summer. Thanks, Otto. You're the best.
NARP will never end.
Almost
NARP,
to 100 episodes. Do you realize this is probably the most consistent we've ever been at anything?
Wow, speak for yourself.
Well, then again, I was a daily content creator at one point.
Me too. For a while.
It's
crazy. Oh, it's the worst. It's the worst. But hold on, before I dive into the daily content stuff. Question. Did you guys get the email about the unlisted videos? So what are you guys going to do about your unlisted video? Because you realize you have to...
I didn't see the email.
I think you can bulk opt out.
Right. Well, you have to go through a form. Like you have to fill out a form and say you want to opt out so that your videos stay unlisted.
Yep.
Wait, what?
Yeah, there's like a whole thing with
all unlisted videos will be set to private by July 1st.
And you can't change them back to unlisted. So if you have them, because they added like the security thing to their code.
Are they removing unlisted videos?
I think that eventually they're deprecating. I think they will eventually deprecate.
Oh, you mean the feature?
Yeah. I think eventually they will deprecate the ability to make videos unlisted.
I feel like what unreasonable. I feel like what they should do is remove private videos. I mean, that's the most useless thing. Like I haven't used that in forever, you know?
No, it's really not the most useless thing. It's
I have used privating videos in the past.
But how?
Haven't you?
You have to. No.
There are videos you may no longer want to be live and active on your channel or accessible by their link, but you may want to keep all the data that you have on those videos.
Right. Yeah. So I've used that in that regard, but I think the point of like having the private also, like the actual private feature of sharing it with somebody else, like you can share a private video, but you have to like add them like through YouTube. So
I think that's for the internal vetting and sponsors and other,
Right. I mean, I've used that forever. Like, I haven't used that in forever because I always just use the unlisted feature.
Yeah, as do I mostly for those situations, sure. But the thing is, again, you might at some point want to private the access even to those, but you might want to pull like things like, let's say you wanted to use the thing you set up in the descriptions as a template or something, or copy your tags or any number of things. Or again,
I do have a couple of videos that I've privated because they were posted on certain articles or like external websites that I don't have control over because they're embedded on there. And so I've privated them so that they don't play.
Exactly.
But now with like the unlisted stuff, because I mean, It's just kind of, you have to go through the whole form thing, I guess, is like the best way in order to just maintain.
Yeah, I just don't feel like, I feel like,
I just don't know which is the best outcome, because you realize if you don't do it and if you don't do it and you want to have the new security feature or whatever, you have to delete the video and re-upload the video and make it unlisted.
Why are they making this change, and why are they forcing this on people?
That's a great question. That we don't know.
I mean, this is not something that I feel was an absolute necessity. I mean, they could always tell us. I mean, if they have a reason, like, fine. If there's a legitimate reason, I'll accept that. I'll defend them on it. But like, I just can't see the need for them to do this. And I think that they should be able to fix. I think they have enough resources and sophistication, or maybe they don't have enough resources. They only have X amount of employees. But like, they should have figured out, in my opinion, solving any security issue without having to have us take any extra step beyond what we already have. Like, I feel that would have been the better thing to do. And I feel that when they've already done things that are already too frustrating for creators in recent weeks and months, that just piling on one more thing is just, it's not something that I feel people will take well. And I think they're justified in being upset.
Yeah, it was just kind of like really surprising because I have so many channels, I got like 10 of these emails. So I was freaking out. Yeah. I was like, what? What does this mean? And I had
really
to read
only
this
affects
whole
OG
thing.
creators because of the period of time that you
of how long my channel has been around.
You and I are OG creators, so this does a considerable amount of our inventory.
Well, I wonder if that's why Audrey, you didn't get this email?
No, I did. I just didn't read it.
Oh, well, now
I'm remembering seeing this now.
Well, you have to make this. See, if you want to opt out of the change, you have to fill out the form within a month.
Well,
I'm gonna be filling out the form.
I thought that said June. Never mind.
I'm gonna be filling out the form because, like, I don't like this, and I don't like. It says that they won't. Like, it says you can't change them.
Yeah, no, you can't. If you make your unlisted video public, alternatively, you can make the video public, and then you can keep your video. But if you want to keep it as unlisted, you have to delete and re-upload the video.
This is so annoying. So here's what I'm going to be doing. I'm going to be doing the form and fill out the form, but here's what I'm going to be doing. For one thing, I've already started using the 4K downloader to archive my all 1,400 videos on my channel.
Yeah.
I'm archiving all of it. Like, and in full quality, by the way, because that's why I'm using 4K downloader. I'm doing it in full quality. I'm downloading everything in terms of all of my videos, every single one of them. I've already downloaded 250 of my videos. So, like, that's a lot. That's it, and that's like low-key, I think low-key impressive, but it's like I'm gonna probably task my sister as one of her jobs here at the office to finish downloading everything, so that because I have, I think, most of the original source files and project files for everything, and I think we've done a good job of archiving that on my NAS and also on these. We have one of these for like every year. So like, here's 2021, here's 2020. We have these going back, I think, to 2016 for me. So we have at least the last 5 years, which is most of my relevant content. Even if it's not, at least it's the most relevant half of my content.
Oh, man, you're lucky. I have a full drawer, man. Mine goes back.
I have
like way back.
Well, yeah, you have more years. You have more years, I think, than me. But like,
I got since 2008. I got labeled drives, man.
I think
I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Actually, I checked.
How big are those?
All the way back to. I think we have all the way back to 2015.
How big are those? 2, 4?
4 terabytes.
Each one of those? They
have the capacity of 4 terabytes, which is more relevant recently for me, obviously.
So let me wait, because this is important. I need answers on this. Mm-hmm. So, like, for example, your 2021, right?
Yeah.
Is that full?
I think I think it is, or no, my 2021 isn't full, but my 2020 is.
Yeah, so like 2020, is that everything from 2020 in the OneDrive in the 4 TB?
This is all of my raw footage and my Adobe project files and the exported footage on this 2020 drive.
For the 1 year.
For the 1 year.
On the OneDrive.
Yeah, 4 TB. Yeah.
How is that? You know, I like, because I have like 3 to 4 drives per year.
Uh-huh. Well, wait, how big are those drives?
2 TB.
That's why I went with 4. That's why I went with 4. It was also priced to terabyte more efficient. It's priced to terabyte more efficient.
Mm-hmm.
It's priced to terabytes or gigabytes much more efficient. I figured that out. So I go now, and now they have 5 TB lazy drives. So I'll go either 4 or 5. Like that's it. And like, because I tried like for older years where I was using smaller files. Because remember, I shoot everything in 4K at this point.
Right.
So when I was using, I export in 4K too. So like when I was using, cameras that didn't shoot in 4K, which is the older years, some of that could have been put and was put on smaller 2 TB drives, but now everything is 4K drives. And again, it's exports, the project files, and the source files. Everything.
Your project files, do you keep them as is, or do you go back in and remove the proxy files?
I keep them as is, and I don't do a proxy workflow. I use a raw workflow instead of a proxy workflow.
See, but I have
a desktop built. I have a desktop built for doing.
I do both though. I mean, I use the optimized media, but then I just have it. I have it transcode anyway and do the proxy just so that I have it in case I do want to just kind of like do something. Or like my computer's being stupid, but 99% of the time I'm using optimized media, but still I have the proxy media and that's taking up space, right?
Yeah.
So I have heard of other people removing the proxy media after they're done with a project.
Yeah. So what I have
Jake
is
Jake says, wait, you guys are keeping footage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the thing is, I have drives for, I think, everything going back to either 2015.
Audrey's coming back. She's coming in hot. Hold on. She's got something
How
to
does
say.
anyone delete footage? That hurts my soul.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't delete it. I just don't organize it. So I guess it's kind of the same.
I've theoretically organized it. Like, I've organized it enough to be okay. We can, and the thing is, I'm going to task. This is where you hire people sometimes just for a weekend. Audrey, like sometimes you could just hire someone for a weekend to sit on your laptop and organize your files. Like, but again, this is another reason why I hired my sister, is to handle.
Yeah, where do you find people like that if you don't have a sister?
Well, I mean, in my case, I had to like hire and train, so I had to build someone from the ground up who can do it. I had to teach her I also had to teach her my data dump protocol to be able to dump my SD card. So now she dumps my SD cards and clones them to the thing, and now she knows how to back them up to the NAS. But if you don't have someone like that, again, if you want, and if the best way, in my opinion, the best way to have someone back up your files is to hire someone who can do it locally, and to just hire a video editor to do archival work for you, because a video editor will know how to do archival work of files as a video editor. And so you just show them the way you want.
Roberto,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like there's always something to learn every day, guys. Every day there's always something to learn. So, I mean, I'm a huge proponent to outsourcing and delegating.
Yeah.
But I'm also a huge archive buff. So, I mean, y'all know that I have my entire life saved up. Like, it's on my Dropbox. Like, I have pictures from when I was born. Jesus. And so, to me, archiving is like it's a huge part of my life and like my core, like not just with my work, but my personal life. And the thought had never occurred to me to hire a video editor to help me for a weekend to organize all of my hard drives.
Yeah. Like, it's like, this is why I'm useful. Like,
you've proven yourself. Yeah. Finally. It only took what, like
right?
100 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
So, in addition to backing up the individual years of files, I also specifically have backups for individual laptops, for example. So this.
Oh man, Victoria says footage hoarders anonymous coming soon.
Yeah. So I have
You know, it's not a bad thing. Everybody wants to call us footage hoarders, but it ain't a bad thing when 5 years later somebody's looking for a specific clip.
For fully backing
and we got the raw file.
For fully backing up a laptop, if your laptop is a 1 terabyte drive, you can go with a 2 terabyte drive, because then it's double the potential capacity. So you're fine on that. So with that, you can do something. If it's a Mac, you can do something like what's that thing? Time capsule. You can do time capsule, but then you could also go ahead and just put some straight up file folders, the things you feel you'd want most accessible. And you can do that with a 1 terabyte drive. If you have a bigger drive, you can go with the full 4 terabyte.
Yeah, I just got the bigger drive for my time capsule. I have a bigger drive.
Yeah.
I actually have no idea how big it is, but I just bought one of those little drives, and I do time capsule, the time machine. Time machine.
Yeah. Time machine.
Time capsule was the
hardware.
The router.
So I have 2016 was I was not shooting at 4K just yet, and I think that I didn't do as much back then. So like a smaller drive was able to accommodate that. So this is through 2019, and then where's 2020?
Wow, thanks contractual. Look at this. You guys, they're just
Who
like
do you
throwing
think
shade.
I am?
They're just throwing shade.
Oh, I'm
in
240.
Yeah,
my
Audrey,
Wi-Fi
you're
bad?
lesser than me.
I had mine in
My
standard
Wi-Fi that
definition. I just went.
Wait. For the audio people, contraptional audio in the chat says, "Why does Roberto look 1080p, Romina 480p, and Audrey 240p?" The reason
I'm
is
not at home,
because
so my Wi-Fi is awful.
I think the reason is because we don't really care.
Oh yeah, it is
Probably.
pretty bad.
Okay, so what I can see, because I think I might have another 1 or 2 drives in the drawer here, but this
Area
is,
51 Wi-Fi is bad.
This is 2016 through.
Look, Audrey,
now.
you need one of these little swag ring lights.
I have a light in my car that I could get.
Okay. Well, why is it in the car? Not
Because I wasn't
guys,
thinking about
this.
it.
This is 2016 from now, so this is everything after I became a 100K channel.
I love how we've just gone completely off the rails, and Roberto is still on track. So, can you repeat that again? What are those?
So these are LaCie drives, and most of these are 4 terabyte or 5 terabyte drives.
Okay.
Not inexpensive, but they're rugged, they're durable.
Is each one a different year?
Yes, every one of these is a different year. 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020, and 2021. So this is literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, last 6 years of my digital content creation career. Right here, y'all. Right.
See,
here,
I need to consolidate mine because I have exactly that. Multiply it times 3. I got maybe like 30 drives.
How do you have so much
But here's the other cool
I got
thing.
like 30 drives, guys. It's
here's
insane.
the other thing. I have these for both of the MacBooks, and I think somewhere I have one.
Are those the backups?
Yes. And
Okay.
I have one for the Dell, and also I have one for the Dell, and then also I have a recent camera dump, because I had like a bunch of drives that a lot of SD cards that I couldn't confirm whether or not I cleared them or not, so we just use this as a dump.
Guys,
and we do
even
it by
just
date.
like in my drawer, this is my office. This is my desk drawer, by the way. Like, I'm just opening it up right now. These are all the drives that I have just in my drawer alone, guys. This is
just a drive, by the way, for backing up my YouTube channel right now. As far as this drive is just for backing up my YouTube channel.
These are all of my drives. So I have like, oh wait, I can't flash that. That was my union card. This is photos and videos. This is the archival stuff of my entire life. So I have this one, and then I have a second one that is a backup of this one. So this is everything. This is honestly, if you want to see naked baby Romina, naked baby Romina, there are plenty of those in here. And then I've got like the this is for my online courses. This is just online courses that I have in here.
Oh wow. I should make a drive just for
You should,
online
Roberto.
or
I like
online
it because
courses.
I can actually, because I know where it is, it's a dedicated drive that's just for that, and I don't have to think about when I did the thing. And then I have one drive that's just footage dump, and is the one that I use to dump all of my footage while I'm traveling, so that I'm not like importing it into, any kind of editing software.
Okay,
I just raw import it here. That way it's backed up while I'm traveling.
When I'm traveling, I use which one? This is a Samsung 2 terabyte T7. So this is the latest and greatest. This is super fast, and you can work.
I need to get me one of those for traveling because, like, but I've had this one for years.
2 terabyte, because what the 2 terabyte allows you to do is you could go ahead and you could have like all of your B-roll footage from like story blocks and all of your music from Epidemic Sound. You could have like a terabyte or half terabyte just for that, and then you could have the rest exist for your you have the rest exist for your working file footage and your projects and stuff. So like this would then mean you could use this for those resources to save space on your laptop. And so know that you have exactly all of your assets, all your animations, all your project resources, your assets. So you have an assets folder that has all of that stuff, then you have a working projects folder, and then you're good to go. You're savvy, and it's pocket friendly. It's like literally just put it in your pocket.
Yeah, no, I really like that, especially for traveling. That's super convenient.
This is why I spent like literally. So every dollar I probably made on YouTube in AdSense money, which is probably, I think it's exactly $180,000 that I've made in AdSense in my entire lifetime. To this date, I've probably spent all of it into my career. That's probably the investment of building my entire brand. If I think about all the money I spent outsourcing just one-time projects, not the hiring people and the paying salaries, but like one-time projects and stuff, all of my backup resources, my hard drive, my NAS, my battle stations, my laptops, my camera gear and lenses, because my camera gear alone is probably a $35,000 investment at this point. So like, or more.
Yeah, I'd say that like 70% has gone back into the business.
I'd say that I probably have invested that whole $180,000 in some way, shape, or form in the building and maintaining of my business and my brand. And the thing is, people think that that's extravagant, but it's not when you think about, I've been at this for over 8 years. Like, so it's not unreasonable over that stretch of time to spend that kind of money by spending and investing decade after decade after decade in what you're trying to build and building something and doing it right. And again, just protecting. Think about it like this. Every one of these hard drives is like about $150. And this is the years, like, so 7 years of that, then the backups for the individual laptops, the extra exports files. And the thing is, I'm almost theoretically at capacity of like how many of these drives I'm currently actively using. I actually need to get more spare drives. So I need to spend like another $600 just on drives to have enough drives to theoretically, because again, I'm archiving my entire YouTube channel now as far as just the exports using 4K downloader because of this whole damn situation with in general as a backup, you shouldn't trust them on that, and you should have the highest quality footage of your content. But I'm also going to re-upload my entire inventory to Patreon, and so everything that's before like 2020 is going to be like free without ads of my old archive on Patreon, I think, or something like that. And then the new stuff going forward from 2020 up is free with ads for paying members, but everything pre 2020 will be just publicly up there, just so that my content exists in a place that's not YouTube. And we'll probably also upload my archive to Facebook and eventually get me monetized on Facebook. Just back up everything. And it's going to cost like
this
money.
This is good advice because I don't do this enough.
Yeah. So I'll have my body of work as far as my finished body of work backed up. The other thing is I probably need to take one of these drives and dedicate one of these drives just to all of my assets in terms of B-roll, stock footage, stock photographics, stock audio, just have all of that consolidated and backed up and updated every now and again. in terms of another drive, just to have a resource drive that even if I don't need it, that literally I can like hand this to somebody who might be working with me or editing, or just say, here, everything I use to make content, like as far as stock photo footage and B-roll and even stuff that I've made for my internal B-roll library.
Yeah, I have an evergreen folder within one of the footage dump one that I have.
Mm-hmm.
I have an evergreen folder. So I think that's been super helpful to have just like the B-roll and the resources and stuff that you kind of like reuse.
Oh, and I probably, just because it's me, I should probably have one of these drives dedicated to nothing but my photography period and have it archived by date. Just have my entire body of work as a photographer archived by date. Oh
my goodness.
Oh,
where are you? What zoo is that?
And thus begins the portion of the podcast.
That's adorable. but you get what I'm saying, like the backup.
Yeah,
thing,
this is just visuals for the people who are on the live. So if you're on audio, you will have no idea what we're looking at right now, which is a good cue for you guys to head over to youtube.com/noassemblypod and subscribe. Turn on the notifications, smash the bell, and join us every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, so you know what we're looking at.
I do have network attached storage. I do have a NAS. Do you guys have that?
That is not a little boy.
No, that's a little Romina. But yeah, do you guys have like a NAS, a network attached storage?
No, not yet.
Nope.
That's something that I definitely, it's definitely something that I want to work on.
I have Dropbox Unlimited, which we're not fully using yet, but we're basically going to duplicate a lot of my stuff to Dropbox slowly up to Dropbox Unlimited. And I have a NAS, and we have these physical hard drives. So the thing is, these are something that are rugged and durable and survivable. We have the NAS, and the NAS can be accessed remotely if need be, and I can give people logins to that. So the thing is, in theory, with my NAS, I could technically give a remote editor access to the archives. I can get access to my archives myself when I travel if I need to, even if as long as I have good internet connection. And something we may eventually do to make life easier for me, for remote stuff or even for other people, is we might make a drive in the archive. What we might do is it's a long process, but we might make a 1080 compressed version of all of my 4K footage that's recent, meaning like, okay, stuff that's recent, meaning I would reference it like 2020, 2021. If we take all the 4K stuff and even the little bit of 8K stuff that I have, and we run it through at 1080, we can have that and also have that on the NAS. So it's an option to say, if something doesn't need to be 4K, you can go ahead and you can use a 1080p sample of that thing and just get it much more quickly.
Do you have your NAS set up right now?
Yeah.
How do you have it set up?
Like, I have it set up on RAID 6 instead of RAID 5. What that means is, if you had it, like I have 8 bays, right? I have 8 bays, and they're 8 terabytes. So I have 64 terabytes. However, I only can use 48 terabytes. Why? Because it's set up on a RAID 6. If it was RAID 5, I could only use 4 of those drives because it'd be mirroring them, right? So that would mean that I would only have 32 terabytes of storage, which is still a lot, but it's not close to 40. It's not 48, and it's definitely not 64. So the reason I have 48 is because by using a RAID 6 array, 2 of my drives have to fail before I lose everything at the same time. So that's what the benefit of RAID 6 is that we have redundancy, and I'm not using all the storage, but I'm also not duplicating and mirroring it, which was the most secure thing that you could do is RAID 5. The most efficient thing you can do with 8 drives is RAID 6, though. If you have 6 or 8 drives, RAID 6 is more efficient because it balances redundancy with storage capacity.
So do you have all of the years that you just pulled out? all of those files
and more.
They're all on the
Yep.
NAS.
Yes, okay. And more, because on the NAS we have all the way back to 2014.
How much are NAS things?
It depends, because you have to also price for the drives, and you want archival drives. You don't want regular drives, and they're not going at the like highest speed, but they are more durable, more reliable, and so you want that. You also are going to want to get for it a M.2 NVMe to also boost its boot speed and all of those things, and put that into it. So you have the 8 regular spinning disk drives plus the NVMe. Archival wise, to set all that up, if you go with an 8-bay architecture, because the NAS itself isn't expensive, it's the drives that add up. So if you use a system like mine that's 8-bay and you use 8 terabyte drives, you probably are at $2,800, $3,000, but you're backing up a lifetime of work for the most part, and you have redundancy, security, and you have access, and so totally worth it long term. And
how much do you spend a year?
What do you mean?
Well, how do you put it up to the cloud? How does that work?
Oh, that's built into the fact that it's attached to your router and your network, but it has a secure firewall.
Oh.
So you don't even have to pay for that. And there are some cloud features if you go with.
See, I thought that it was yeah. See, I thought that it. Okay.
No, that's a different service, right? That's a different service, and you can pay for that almost like a co-location solution, or a cloud solution. So the thing is, the drives right now, and like someone has explained that they're 12 terabyte. They didn't have 12 terabyte when I bought mine, but their 12 terabyte drives are about $325 a piece. So that's a good price. So you could assume like for 8 terabytes or 10 terabytes, maybe it's like $250, right? So at 8 drives, if it's $250 a piece, then you're about $2,000 in, and then you have your NAS, which is about $800 to $1,000. So that's where your $3,000 plus your NVMe is probably gonna be $250. So like that's where you're at about $3,000 for a Synology. So that's now if you go with a 4-bay, $500, and then the drives are maybe $250 a pop, so $1,500. So that's not a bad way to go either.
So by the time you're in your 60s, you're gonna have like 10 of these.
No, I don't know about all that. I mean, because by the way, these things do stack. You can do expansions to these.
Right.
So like, I don't know about all of that. And it just depends on what we're doing. I mean, but now, by the way, does Linus Tech Tips having an entire like warehouse data center make sense now?
Oh yeah.
Because they produce 17 videos a week.
Which is a whole other level of insanity,
and their individual files are like, one file for them is like what I do in a week or a month or something. One file, one video, per video, they do like what I do in a week or a month, because they're shooting on those high-end cameras, like that insanity. So like Linus Tech Tips has a data center. iJustine has this 128 terabyte monstrosity. MKBHD does too. But they shoot like, well, actually Steam shoots at the same resolution as me, but MKBHD shoots 8K.
Meanwhile, Audrey's over here streaming at 240.
Wait, I try. I'm trying to use nothing. We didn't do much about
Audrey
this.
Ember's out here trying her best.
Oh man.
Dude, I was able to check in here at 4, so I was literally like trying to get in as fast as possible, so I wasn't late. So I was slightly late.
Yeah, but I could see. I could see having a drive that I dedicate, by the way, just to backing up all of my podcast. So that makes sense as far as having like a drive that, okay, this drive is audio. This drive is all my photography stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like those. So like there's different little offshoots of things that in theory, it makes total sense to have even dedicated drives to and to do archival for, that I'm now realizing, oh wait, crap, I do need to order more of these. Like, For real.
Yeah, I feel so inspired right now to just like reorganize everything.
And now you can outsource it, like, which is the real, like, you can
I
literally
know, right?
you can
Yeah.
screen record exactly how to do it step by step and everything you want done, and you can show somebody in person and then you can say, just do this.
Well, I mean, it wouldn't even be that difficult, because as long as they know how to move files from one hard drive to another.
But again, they might need to know how you want it labeled and organized, because again, that's
sure, yeah, but I feel like, I mean, that's kind of, once you do one, all of them would follow in
check
the
this
same
out.
system.
The price difference between a 4 terabyte versus a 5 terabyte is $20 difference. $20, you get another terabyte.
All right, I want to throw the ball back at Audrey, because we kind of went down a gear.
Sure.
Hard drive tangents.
Do either of you mind that we went down the road of archival?
I mean, Audrey.
No, I feel like it's something I need to learn more about. So I appreciate.
No, I mean, I guess it's good. So I mean, that kind of answers my question. Is Audrey, have you do you feel like you've learned something? And I guess you just answered yes, but
from this,
yeah, I guess.
I need to be more organized with my files before.
You see, this is what nobody tells you about YouTube.
How do you guys like actually? Okay, last hard drive question, because maybe.
Oh man.
Okay. How do you like actually file stuff? Oh my god, hold on. How do you actually put stuff in the files? Like, do you put them by date or by topic, or I can still hear you guys.
So you can, in theory, like the most practical way might be, because your individual files have dates attached to them, and that helps with some context, but also specific projects. If you remember and have specific projects that you care about, or things were filmed at specific locations or events, then you should have a folder for that thing, but also by the, like, then break it down into its specific like date and that kind of thing. Because I feel like, for example, for me, the hard drives themselves in this case are by year already. So then after that, it's then broken down by month, and then by like that month, and then in theory that file type that's relevant, because the month is probably the most relevant thing to me, unless there's a reason that it needs to also be a specific date, so
yeah.
So I'd rather know, all right, this is 2020. What matters to me is folders for January through December of that, because then that's the context. And then after that, I care about file types. So for me, that's largely what it is, or the context of another context sometimes. Or what I might do is, this has actually, I can tell you the way I do it. This has the year, but inside of this, I have something that kind of maps to the way the hard drives are on my desktop and on my laptop, which is 01 through 06, but it's like basically media, working files, exports, project files. So like it's broken down by what it is.
File type.
The file, yeah, basically the file hierarchy. And then inside those individual folders is basically what application something belongs to. So if it's project files will have like, okay, Premiere, it'll have Premiere, After Effects, Audition, whatever the program is, so that I understand the context of what file type I'm getting ready to open. And also so does somebody who's not me, is the other part of it. So I'm not using shorthand that it would only matter to me. And then there's like another folder under media. It might be something like unedited photos. And then in unedited photos, it's broken down by the date, and then RAW versus JPEG in that folder for that date.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Like when I say it like that?
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I go by date. And then I think because and I go by month as well. So because my hard drives are by year, then the inside is by months. And then I have my in my actual project files, like when I'm working in Final Cut, I have my I use the date and then kind of like keywords of like what the title of the project is, and the location, because I'm dealing with travel most of the time. So and that's kind of, I think that's kind of it. I mean, I don't really use like much else unless I'm working on something specific. Then I'll just have the project title and organize it by that. Like for example, my drive with client work looks a little bit different because I have different clients. So it's like a folder for each client.
Yes.
And then within that, it follows like the same setup of going through dates or the types. So if I'm doing like ads for clients, then it's like a folder for ads, and then like social content and YouTube, like depending on the kind of stuff, like if there's a diverse range of content.
It's okay in addition to your regular archives that are done by yearly files, or by even say an additional backup of the specific computer that it's from, or or a mirror of the drive that it physically was on prior to. In addition to that, it's worthwhile to do it again and just literally say, here is just another backup of a backup of only client work, right? Or something I might even do. Because I think it's worth it to have just on another level of redundancy of, okay, yes, I have everything from 2020, but regardless of date, here's our drive. I think that like all of us as YouTubers, we should have a backup drive that's just for sponsored work that we've done, where we put the sponsored works projects and everything for that sponsored thing we did, but also the contracts. And you just have a drive for just all of your sponsored work, so that on top of your yearly redundancy, you have something just for that. I also think the same thing for client work. And so you just have another layer of redundancy, but also at a quick reference, if you needed somebody else to do something, you could say, hey, I need something for a client. Instead of digging through all my stuff, just literally go to the drive that says client work and then pull up the appropriate client project.
Well, I also have, so my entire local drive is on Dropbox. So like I don't use the local, like I created my own folders in Finder within Dropbox. And like I changed my sidebar on Finder to have only Dropbox folders, and there's nothing that's on my local drive. And the Dropbox, I have a folder within that's just for my brand, and within that I have a videos folder, and that has all of my videos. Like the exported, the final video that was shared and published. And that video, so that's on my computer, so it's accessible locally. And then on top of that, it's also accessible from anywhere that I have access to Dropbox. So if I'm on my phone and somebody wants to watch a video of mine or wants me to send them some like clips or something, and it's no longer available online, like I can't link them to it, it's on Dropbox.
That's why we're also using Dropbox Unlimited to eventually do that for all of my stuff on top of everything else.
It's super convenient, on top of the fact of like when I'm publishing a video, I have so when the video is published, because usually like if I schedule it right to go out, I'll have the video on my phone, like wherever I am, so that I can create clips or upload clips to other social channels to promote the video, to get people to go watch on YouTube. So just having that kind of access is really great, because like if I want to kind of recall an older video and tweet about it, I can easily just download it real quick on my phone with the Dropbox app, and then just like cut out like a clip of it right on my phone and then publish that on Twitter, right?
Right.
Um
Yeah, no, that makes total sense. I just think that like if you think about me, I trust nothing.
Connor has a question. How do you organize your assets? One folder on main hard drive for all special effects, stock footage, songs, etc. Yeah, so I actually have a folder. I mean, I have a drive, which I showed earlier, which is like the footage dump drive. And that one has like all of my evergreen content. I call it evergreen content, but whatever. It has like a B-roll of me that I reuse often, or like stock footage and songs that I might reuse. And then especially with like client work, I do have folders that have the SFX stock footage that I reuse often, especially if I have very similar clients, like that are sharing similar like genres. And then also just kind of repeat sound effects as well. Like, I mean, songs, right? Like songs and sound effects and all of that stuff. So yeah, I use like, I use the folder for that, and that's like, that depends on, so like what's on my client hard drive is different from the one that's on my footage dump hard drive, but it's organized pretty much the same way, where I do have like the evergreen and then I have stock footage and all that stuff.
I'm gonna try and see if I can share with y'all on
Yeah, Connor, I always have that drive. So for example, if it's like client work, that my client work is all on the same drive. So I have the client work that's divided up by the different client names, like folders for each client. And then on that same drive, I have assets for those clients.
Yeah.
And if it gets to a point where a client is really big and like there's just a lot of footage or something, I might have a designated drive that's just for them. But for the most part, all of my clients are on the same drive, like my active clients, right? And it's pretty much enough space that it covers all of them. And then like if I'm not working with a client anymore, I put them on another drive, which is just like that I don't need to have on me, you know?
Yeah. What was I thinking about? So like one of the things with me is, I'm just checking on something real quick. Yeah, that's what that one is. Because I want to see if I can actually show y'all one of these ones that like makes sense.
Yeah, Mahita's talking about drive compatibility in 5 years. I'm not too concerned about that because drives haven't changed in like the past 15 years. But also, I remember a time. All right, I remember a time.
USB-C.
I remember a time when hard drives, where you had to buy a hard drive that specifically said on the back that it was compatible with Apple, because drives were just for Windows. Like, and if you didn't get a drive that was compatible for Mac, you'd get stuck with a drive you wouldn't be able to use. At least for me, because I had a Mac when very few people had Macs around me. So that was something that was super annoying, because like I had friends who were all on Windows and PC, and then they could not lend me their hard drives to share stuff with me because of the compatibility issue.
Yeah. So I have this it's interesting. So I have this drive that I'm gonna do a screen share of, and this is not my most organized drive, but this was we needed to clear a lot of space off of my main PC, and we needed to be able to do that. So this is like, we just did a lot of it as quickly as possible, but I'll just give an example here.
Yeah.
So let me share.
Again, everyone who's listening would benefit by joining the live stream.
Facts. All right, so there
can I
you
add
go,
it?
Romina. Yeah, you can add it.
Is my quality just going down?
it's going completely downhill. Like, all right. So
I mean, you're already at the bottom of the hill. I don't know.
so this drive for 2020, there were a couple of things that are weird about this drive because I also just needed to throw all my 8K footage onto and my backups from everything from the Sony A Alpha 1 project. So I did just throw that in there as well. I also needed to just clear all of the footage from my Atomos Ninja just because these files were so big that I just needed to get them off of my computer because a lot of this was either 8K or it was ProRes 16-bit and all that insanity. All right, so I did that. But if you want to like see, okay, well, what about 2020? Well, again, in this case, I have these media files, which was an entire thing of all of my cinematic B-roll. So like I have all these different files around that. I have the stuff from the Atomos in there. So I think I have that twice, believe it or not. But then in terms of data archive, I have the exported, well, not the export, I have the actual raw footage from like all the videos that I made in January, February, March, April. Like I have everything for the year plus some individual projects here in terms of this footage. So I have like all this 2020 footage, and basically this is all almost 4 terabytes on a 5 terabyte drive between all of it. So like that's a lot. Oh, and I backed up like all my Zoom calls. All of my Zoom calls are all backed up as well.
Your like your coaching calls and stuff, just
Yep.
to kind of be specific for the people.
Yep, all my Zoom coaching calls for my client work.
Yeah, Roberto isn't over here just like recording Zoom calls, you know.
No, it's something that we have to have a backup of the coaching call because we also send an action plan with follow-up notes.
Yeah, well, do you share the recording with your clients, like the coaching call, so that they can reference it? Or
I let them record on their side. I record as a backup. That way, they're responsible for their recording. I'm responsible for mine. But as a redundancy, I did that just in case for whatever reason the recording screws up on my side. I'm not on the hook, so they get to record theirs as the courtesy on that. We give them notes and an action plan and all that stuff.
All right, there's a couple questions that are in the chat. First of all, I try and work, this is from Connor, I try and work all internal on MacBook if possible. Would I benefit from spreading out video editing files across drives when working? I think that really is up to you.
On a desktop, but not on a, I think only on a desktop.
On a laptop? That sounds really annoying. I try and avoid hard drives when I'm working on a laptop.
On a laptop, what you would benefit
and then
from
I
is
go
if
later.
you used, what you would benefit from on a laptop is if you use an external drive as a scratch disk.
Yeah, so I try to keep everything off of my laptop. Like I want my laptop to just be as clean as possible. So I always work off of externals. I mean, aside from, word processing, and like image type stuff. But when it comes to video editing
and
production, all of that goes on externals.
This is a photo camera dump, by the way. This is like this is a different drive, by the way. This is a different drive that then just has all of the photography stuff. And so this is
nice.
Yep.
That's a lot of fish, Roberto.
Oh, that was the Georgia Aquarium.
Mahita says that she's got an SD card that's 6 years old and that it won't transfer. And so she's
send
kind
that
of like,
to a,
Right.
Yeah, isn't there a place that she can send that to?
Yeah, you have to.
I mean, there's hard drive recovery places.
That's exactly it.
So I think you just have to find one of those and ask them if they'll work on your SD card. Because it's all a matter of hardware. It's the equipment that they can use to pull that data out of it. Because it could be corrupted, right? I doubt that's a compatibility issue.
It can be. Like it super can be.
Yeah. Um,
Someone asked about environmental with all these drives. I mean, it matters
yeah,
when
that
I
was
get rid.
Vegeta.
It matters if or when I get rid of them. But the thing is, there's like the idea is to not have to get rid of these in any.
Well,
But it's almost all recyclable parts at this point too.
right, but also couldn't you? I mean, couldn't you just sell the hard drives or donate the hard drives?
Well, I think the idea of
I mean,
them
if you
with the
wiped them.
environmental, if the concept of the environmental use would be that they no longer are functional and therefore now disposable. Because as long as they work, I'm gonna have them.
Right, but let's say that you didn't have them anymore, then it's like you would still be recycling them. You could probably donate them or
I'd probably sell them just because I'm fiscally very I'm
yeah,
very
we'll sell
frugal.
them, donate. I mean, they
I
wouldn't
would
end up
sell
in
them. I would
landfill.
sell them at a considerable markdown, the same way I do with my camera gear. If, like, for example, I just bought the 70 to 200 f2.8. I'm selling the 70 to 200 f4 as a result after I do the comparison test. After I do the comparison test, it's a redundant focal length range, so I'm selling the lens. I'm selling it at a markdown. It retained a lot of its value. Someone will get a good deal on it. I'm selling my Mavic Air drone, the first Mavic Air. I have the updated Mavic Air 2, so I don't necessarily need that anymore. So again, it gets sold. It's if it's computer parts or hardware, I sell it if it works, I recycle it if it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
And I, account for it properly all with the taxes stuff with the IRS, and I'm done, and that's that. It's like I believe in extreme frugality, and I believe in being very, very fiscally responsible, and I'm obsessively fiscally conservative. I donate things like clothing, but business resources and materials, if it's not a hand-me-down to somebody in my own family, I sell it. I recoup the value after depreciation. Because I'm like Scrooge McDuck over here. And not in the swimming in gold sense, in the penny pinching skinflint sense.
I do like the swimming in gold.
Oh, I'd love that.
It's a great imagery. Mm-hmm. It's one of those images from my childhood that I just
facts.
Don't forget.
I just ordered 2 more of these drives, by the way.
Oh man. All right, guys, should we start wrapping up?
Is there something you feel we should have brought up as far as things YouTubers don't tell you about that we haven't, or what's the deal with that?
I don't know. I feel like we didn't go super deep into,
I think we ended up in the technical territory, but what do you
Yeah.
I mean, we could give that a little bit more time, and then we could wrap this up. What do you think we should talk about? I mean, and
or we can just do next time.
Well, I mean, we can let Audrey. We can do at least.
It's already been an hour and a half.
Yeah, we can expand on that next week.
Okay.
What's something that we can leave the audience with that we'll talk? Yeah, well,
Okay, so let's do some kind of this
all right.
was a YouTube related.
What's something, Audrey? What's something that you wish we would have discussed in this topic?
I don't know. I feel like we could talk more about our channels and stuff because we haven't really done a full. Romina didn't talk about your channel. I don't think at all in this episode, and I don't know. I feel like we could go deeper into it because we haven't really done a YouTube centric episode. Not
do you guys
about
want to do that next week, or you want to do
or...
something else next week? Do you want to do that next week, or you want to do something else next week? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I'm cool with going into this next week.
Okay.
I mean, I definitely think we can talk more about the actual secrets of YouTube, like the business side of things, of kind of what Audrey was talking about earlier, of the why and kind of growing and not using. Yeah, how to find your why. Is that what you guys want to hear about?
I guess. I mean, I think that anybody watching, theoretically, maybe, I mean, unless I'm wrong, maybe they've almost all found their why, but the biggest problem is articulating it. Because I don't think it's a struggle. Maybe I'm wrong. Like Audrey, do you think you still have a good sense of your why?
Oh yeah, that's never been the problem. It's
But the problem is, I know what your real
conversion.
problem might be. I think the real problem, because I think Romina had this struggle, and then I had this struggle too, but I found a way around it. It's called make another channel or do something else or whatever, or do a podcast. But like, what you want to make will not always be what people want to watch. And then the problem is staying motivated to keep making things when people aren't giving you the attention you felt those things deserved. But that comes down to expectations that you're putting onto an audience versus anticipating what they want. And that's where the culture and putting the audience first and that notion that I came up with comes from, is like, just because you want to make something doesn't necessarily mean people want to watch it. So you have a couple of options. You can either package something as what you think they want to watch and then do it however is satisfying to you, which is the meet them halfway version that John Prosser talks about, which helped explode his channel. Or you can straight up just do what they want and what will get you views. And then in terms of you wanting expression, you can do that on another channel or on TikTok or on a podcast or something else that they're not obligated to be invested in, because there's I want views and I want this and I want that becomes well, you may not be one of the 0.1% of people who can make whatever they want and get that, and they probably didn't start out that way, with the exception of like maybe, for example, a Kelly Stamps or Emma Chamberlain, or there's some people that get to do that from day one or whatever,
right?
But it's not the majority of people. Not everyone gets to start their channel being personality driven. PewDiePie didn't, Sniper Wolf didn't, Beast didn't. So like, most people don't get to start their career that way. And the problem is people are trying to start their career the way that big YouTubers are ending their career, or the way that they're actively doing their career now. They're like, oh, you want to do on day one or in year one what someone's doing on year 8? Like, that's, so that's, I think that's the hard part.
Victoria wants us to show the balled up pieces of paper, the real day in the life of a creative.
I already made a video. Like, it's like a 45-minute video. I already made a video about like my daily life and routine and shit.
All right. Well, we can
watched it.
All right. Well, okay. Well, everybody here can go watch Roberto's video. I also made a day in the life of a YouTuber. It was not 45 minutes. But we can definitely discuss some of that, I think. Failed projects. Yeah, the how. How is it possible to start a personality channel now?
My favorite project. It's like, you don't.
All right. That seems like seems like we have stuff to discuss for next time, Roberto.
Failed projects are like, what do you consider a failure? It's like, this thing is like, people have this obsession with it's, oh, show us your failures.
Roberto, you got to save some stuff.
I know, but I'm gonna be real about that. I'm gonna be super real about this. Everyone says, show us your failures. I've made videos talking about my failures. I've made videos about, and you know what? No one fucking watched them. Like, no one watched them. No one cares about your fail. Like, everyone says, show me something. It's like, because you do it, and sometimes you fail very publicly, and guess what? That's the stuff that no one bothered to watch. It's there. You want to see someone's failures? Just literally sort videos by oldest. The end. Like, sort videos by oldest. The end. There's no showing your failures, because you already, at least in this era, you already performed them publicly. And then making a video about it is self-indulgent crap that people don't really care about. Like, no one cares. No one cares about your failures. That's why they only root for you after you're successful. And that's why almost no one has your back on the climb up. And they're only there to either applaud or criticize you when you get midway up or at the top. Because when you are in the gully of everything you're doing, and when you're grinding and you're suffering and you're losing sleep, no one gives a shit about you. And that's the honest truth about being a YouTuber. When you are at the beginning of your career, you will be able to count on your hand how many people actually care about you and have your back. And hopefully you keep those people in your life, because they're the real ones. But then nobody, like, everyone, like, I think people like that stuff because then it motivates them or it makes them feel better about themselves. But like, when you were doing it, they didn't care then either. So it's still just ultimately, it becomes this, like, it's like, I like, I don't know why everyone says they want to see that or that nobody shows that, because when people were doing it and they were doing it publicly and that, like, no one cared then. So why do you care now? Now, why do you care about somebody's come up after they're successful when you didn't care when it was actually happening?
Right.
Like, that's the real thing that
when
I
it
feel
unfolded before you.
Because most YouTubers have not deleted their past archive unless they needed to or unless they got canceled. So you could literally just sort by oldest, and there you go. There's the videos that nobody cared about. There's all the flops. There's all the trying hard. There's all the practice runs. There's all the awkwardness. But you weren't looking for them or checking for them or caring back then if you weren't part of their community. So I'm like, why does it matter now? Like, now that because you want to feel better about your own thing, and that's fine. That's why I leave it up. I leave it up so people can feel better about their own thing. And yep, I was making crappier videos than you are now. Like, when I started, fine. But I also, it's hard for me, and I'm not going at you, Victoria. I'm just like, it's hard for me. It's irritating for me that there's a narrative that no one shows their struggles and their success, when it's like, I think it's nonsense to say that, because everyone did and no one cared. Everyone, at least in this era, everyone's like early failures, everybody's journey, everyone's origin story is out there, and nobody cared when they were going through it, and nobody cared when they were building it. Like, it's always the Monday morning quarterback after the fact. It's always the criticism after you did it. It's always those things, or the rooting for you now that you don't, like, giving you a cheering section when you need it the least now. Like, when you really needed that, when you really needed somebody to see you, people weren't checking for you then. But they're happy to do it now. And largely because they can learn something from it and they can benefit from it. But when it was the most meaningful to you and you would have gotten some benefit from it, it didn't matter to them. That's the harsh truth about being a YouTuber.
Facts. Fax machine.
Yeah. And it is what it is. I'm like, I might sound really jaded or bitter. But, I mean, but it is what it is. It's fine.
Either Audrey's very sad or she froze.
I think she froze. I hope she heard that, though, because it's, like, super useful.
Yeah, because it was great. Don't worry. We'll make a clip out of it. See, this is what we needed to get monetized so that we can get somebody to make clips of us.
Right? We need somebody to just sit there doing that for a week.
Yeah, and do clips.
Yeah.
Right. No, she's just very still.
You know that H3 has the clip show, and now they have a YouTube Shorts channel called Bites. So now everyone with a podcast now has a podcast channel, a clips channel, and now they have a Bites channel so they can get in on that YouTube Shorts creator fund.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, we need that. We need some
maybe the next episode is literally just titled "The Worst Parts of Being a YouTuber" or "The Worst Thing About Being a YouTuber." I don't know.
My Wi-Fi just dropped for a sec.
All right, so
Audrey, you froze on a very sad face while
sad as fire.
While Roberto was talking about.
Nice. Maybe I wasn't frozen. Maybe I was actually just sad.
I don't know.
What was the last thing you heard? What was the last thing you heard, Audrey?
The harsh truth of being a YouTuber, and then it just.
Oh, so then she did.
Maybe that's the title. Maybe that's the title
for next week.
Maybe that's next week's episode.
The harsh truth of being a YouTuber.
Yeah, the harsh truth about being a YouTuber. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because I think every kid today wants to be a YouTuber and they have no idea what it's like and everything like that. Because again, they don't even know about this part of that life right here. The
weights.
No, they are. Well, like, I mean, the technical, everyone says, I want to be a YouTuber. And all they're thinking about is making funny or goofy videos. They're not thinking about negotiating brand deal contracts. They're not thinking about doing revisions. They're not thinking about how they're going to eat while they're waiting to get monetized, only to find out that it's a tenth of a penny per view. They're not thinking about what that ramen, I hope you like ramen. Like, you want to be a YouTuber? I hope you like ramen, like, so much. And I hope that you can handle the sodium intake without dying. Because, like,
hey, man, I like ramen.
I'm getting very specific.
I mean, Yeah, well, we have to get specific in order to get results.
Yeah. Facts. See, there goes Romina with those facts. But like, yeah. But then there's the technical stuff. There's the technical stuff of like, this is the stuff people don't bother to learn. They want to know how to grow their channel. They want to know how to go viral. They don't want to know their camera settings. They don't want to bother to learn good camera settings. They want to learn how to do proper video etiquette. They don't want to know proper export settings. They don't want to learn how to tweak their frequency bands in Audition to make a better audio experience for their viewership. They don't want to, like, nobody wants to figure out any of that. They don't want to learn about 3-point lighting. They just want to make goofy dumb shit on the internet and get rich. And that's not how YouTube actually is.
That's what I want to do. That's why I'm going to bring Trisha onto the podcast.
I will leave.
No. I will join Roberto and
we will boycott the podcast. Yeah.
All right. This will be the Romina podcast.
Like, yeah, homie, it's like, good luck with that one. Like I don't even think we should, for your health, that we should even allow you to do that. Because again, I just think that's cursed.
For my health.
Yeah, it's cursed.
Yeah, you say it's cursed now, but when I got my island and my million subs,
we're gonna have to send you to therapy with Ethan. Like, you know? Anyway,
hey, Aaron, welcome to your first time here. We're just about ready to wrap up. We've been here
let's go ahead and do that.
Almost 2 hours.
Yeah.
And Victoria, we will be answering all of your questions next week. So tune in. Because you do have some really great questions and we want to make sure that we get to them.
Yeah, I like that idea because, like, yeah, as a traditional artist, I get what you're saying. Like, yeah. But let's go ahead and do an outro. Let's do that.
All right.
Thank you for listening to the No Assembly Required podcast, where we crush all of your hopes and dreams here in front of a live YouTube audience. Please like, subscribe, and review, and make sure that if you're listening to the audio version of this, that you tune in live each week at Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and join us on the video portion. But you also can leave us a review on Apple Podcasts. Please make it 5 stars. Please, please, please do that. Of course, we are out of here as your trio of entertaining hosts, starting with Romina with the good hair, Audrey, everybody is sus, Ember, and of course, your dark lord of the internet, here to crush all of your dreams into oblivion, Roberto Blake. Thank you for listening. See you next week. Nop.